In 2017, Olivia Karchner found herself starting in the PIAA Single A state championship game as a freshman for Marian Catholic. She describes the experience.
Played Maplewood. I remember it like it was yesterday. I go out on the court and I'm standing up against a 6'5" middle hitter who's a senior. And the only thing I looked at my coach, I was like, well, what do I do? So it was kind of just go out there, do what you know how to do it as well as you can, and it's just a blessing just to be there. So from that point, it has really inspired me and encouraged me to become the girl that I was playing against, because that was really an experience for me, seeing, wow, someday I could be in her shoes, I could be that incredibly good player, and that is really what I've worked for ever since that moment when I was terrified to be up against her.
3 years later, Karchner, now a 3-time All-State player, was on the floor in the 5th set in the Single A state semifinals against Sacred Heart Academy. Volleyball was quite the journey for her and her fellow seniors, and that journey wasn't going to end on this night.
Something I'm always going to remember is definitely getting the winning kill at the state semifinal game this year. That was a crazy game. We started out so strong and then the wheels fell off the bus, but then we really learned how to bring ourselves back and the whole team came together, and that was the last game that I would ever play on this court, and just being able to get the winning kill during that game is something that I will always remember, and I'm so thankful to have that opportunity.
When you hit the ball, did you know?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I think I did, because as soon as I hit it, it was like, okay, wow, that one felt different than all the other ones, and then you see it shoot off the girl's arms in the sand, and it's like, wow, we really did it. We're really going to the state championship for the first time since our freshman year. And then it was kind of a sense of being a good role model, because knowing that you were able to assist in leading younger girls to that, because I know how I felt my freshman year being at the state championship. It was like, wow, this is incredible.
In 2018, Marian moved up to Division I in the Schuylkill League and had to match up with bigger schools. They lost 7 seniors from their state silver medal team in 2017 and felt some growing pains on the way to Dr. John Fallabell's only losing season in 17 years as head coach. In 2019, the Phillies were able to fight their way to a 10-8 record.
It's a competition. Someone wins, someone loses. It's not to say I don't get upset. I do, but you take everything in stride. It's a learning process. It's high school sports. That's what this is about. Is to learn and grow as a person. Learn to take adversity, learn to take defeat, and make something out of it, and grow from it and become a better person. And that's what this girls did.
Well, the past 2 years, everybody kind of doubted us because it was 2 rebuilding years, and sometimes it's hard to see that in the moment. When we were in last season and the season before, it's hard to see hey, this is what's gonna make you good your senior year, and it was hard to tell. But this year, we just look back on it and we're like, it was so worth it. We all switched positions, we all changed around on the court, but this year, you have to work for what you want, and we worked really hard, especially when we didn't know if we were gonna have a season, practicing on the front lawn.
In 2020, the Phillies were back in Division IV of the Schuylkill League with schools more their size. Ready to compete for a championship, their team t-shirts had a motto that definitely fit: on a mission to protect the tradition. But before the first game of the season, that mission was in jeopardy because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Phillies started the year practicing outside of the school, hoping they would get a chance to play. Once games started, Marian was greeted by silence since fans weren't allowed in the stands to start the year. A team that had to weather 2 tough seasons seemed built to survive the storms of 2020.
So going into preseason, everyone worked so hard. It was kind of reminding everyone, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So if this is going to be your last time playing on this court, then you better play well, better put everything out there. So even although our season was rough and the beginning of the season was so uncertain, I think that really showed that athletes adapt, and that's something that we always talk about at practice is if you really want to make it to the state championship and you really want to have a successful season, it's learning how to adapt to these uncertain times and learning how to get through them as a team.
We definitely got closer during that time because we were honestly, we didn't have fans, so we just had, as a team, we had to pull together and just be each other's supportive systems.
Eventually, some fans were allowed into the games, and eventually the Phillies found themselves back in a familiar spot, the District 11 Single A Championship game. They were also up against a familiar foe, rival Nativity, a team they lost to twice during the regular season. The Phillies were ready to adapt to more changes to try and fulfill their mission.
I had promised my seniors at the beginning of the season that this was a COVID season. We had no idea if we were going to play any games or how many games, so they were going to start every game and play every game, and I kept that promise to them. Now we come to the postseason, and I've seen there's a couple of positional changes that I wanted to make. Some people that were really strong defensively, but needed some relief offensively. Some blocking changes that we made, and it worked. It worked to beat Nativity. Tatiana Zeleniak moving to the left back from the middle back. She played the game of her life that night, and it showed off, and we got into the state playoffs.
That was the best game I've ever played in my life, and I will always remember that. It was just the fact that my team supported me so much, and after every point they were like, "Todd, you're doing amazing. Like, don't worry if you mess up a little bit." Like, because it was a new spot, I've never played there before. So it definitely was the best game all season.
Speaking of changes, after working on a top spin jump serve over the summer, Jamison Wheeler was able to start pulling it off successfully during games, adding another important piece of the puzzle for the Phillies. And then there's the final piece that completed the picture for Marian: confidence. Karchner was a long way from being that scared freshman, and so were her fellow seniors.
It definitely is a mental thing. I think once you learn that after making one mistake, that it's totally normal, you just have to shake it off, then that's when you start to gain the confidence. If, like, throughout the game, if you have a positive mindset and you think, oh, that's okay, we're gonna get the next point, or we're gonna win this set, it honestly just grows confidence. And it also helps, like, having best friends like that and teammates that will help you see that you really are that amazing and tell you every day that, you know, you could win or you could make this point or get up and spike the ball. So I think it really comes from your friends, and it is a mental thing.
The seniors shared that confidence and friendship with their younger teammates, and it all added up to a return to glory for Marian girls volleyball.
I honestly hope, like, especially the underclassmen, I hope they looked up to us this year, and I hope they had an amazing experience with coming to states, as we've been telling them how amazing it feels. And I just hope they take this season and try to repeat the same thing again next season.
Mission accomplished. For SSPTV Sports, I'm Ken Cara.